Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of StarCraft 2 Blender tutorials, and this time I will show you how to transfer animated textures from one model to another. And first I will show you how to do that from Blood Hunter to Dark Templar, because as you can see, Blood Hunter or Dark Templar Taldarim has this cool effect on its blades, which you can easily move from one model to another. First, you go to the Blood Hunter model, and it's what's on the blades. So you can delete all the other meshes because you won't need those. Maybe you don't even need this mesh, but I will rather keep it so the material doesn't get deleted. And then I remove all the things you don't want, which here are no lights, ribbons, particles, so only these things. I don't want them to interfere with the original model, because this time we will be bringing more than just the mesh. I can also delete all the materials that I don't want to keep. Material layers I can keep here. I want to keep just the GL stand. That will be always the case for the animated, or most of the time it will be the case for the animated textures. So I will keep that, and now export it. I will save it as blades, and now go to the other model, import blades, here select armature. Effects we don't have any, so that we don't need, but rig and animations we need to keep. Import M3, geometry flag was checked. Now we can delete this one because we no longer need those blades, but we have the material successfully imported. Then what we also need to do is separate the blades. So you select them, you can just click one vertex on each, then Ctrl plus, hold it, and it will select them all. Then press P for selection, and click, or by P is for separate, and you click selection. That will make it a separate model. And what you do here, you now just put the material on it, and now our Dark Templar should have Blood Hunter blades. So let's have a look. Yep, he has them completely this way. And if we take a look at the materials of those blades, material layers, these are these two. Dark Templar Taldarim Diffuse is used for one emis layer, and Estrade tiling is the moving layer actually. These flashes. So I will first have a look at how that the Dark Templar texture looks like. Because it is quite dark in here. So normally the Dark Templar uses Dark Templar Silver diffuse model, but here it is much lighter, so maybe I will use specular instead, because it is quite darker, the blades. So I will use that. I have the names somewhere in here, so I can just copy it, because the model itself uses it. I will put it here, and I will check if there are other colors of this thing. And there actually are. So instead of red, I will use green, if I wanted to have a green effect. And now we should have the same effect, but in green Dark Templar colors. DT2. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe just too glowy. So we can have a look at this. It has 8. So if I go maybe on 4, it should be slightly better. But it already looks quite good like this. This is slightly less glowy. I think maybe the first one looked actually better. Maybe I can just make the... I think the side itself looks good. Because if I make it even less glowy, it's just dark. This way it looks kinda good actually. So what if I do it differently? I will put 8 here, but in the material layer, this is the second one, this is the effect, and here is multiplier already just 0.8. But what if I put 0.4? Maybe it will be less glowy and will look better. I don't know. Let's check it. Yeah, I think this is slightly better. Or maybe not, I don't know. This does some quite nice flashes actually. This is more just like pulsing glow. You can actually choose by yourself what you think looks better. I think the second one actually looks the best. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe the fourth one. This one is actually cool as well. But personally, I don't really like this effect on the blades too much. I prefer the normal blade glow that Zeratul or Zealot have. This is just some kind of glowy effect, but I actually normally prefer something like this, when it's complete burn on the blade. That actually looks much better. But those are particles mostly, so that looks that is done differently also. I wanted to show you the animated textures actually, which works quite well here. And as you can see, both of these use just the default UV source. It doesn't use the UV layer 2. And if I import I also can show you that it works on the other version of DT. You can do the same, just remove, not remove, just separate this one. Import the blades model we have here, rig animations, import, remove the imported blades, change the material to standard 8, change the material layers. Here I will just copy again the Dark Templar Silver Specular because I like it to use it also for this texture. And here we change it to green. And it should look okay, I think. Yep, and it also has now the effect on the blade, which actually looks kinda cool. I really like it on this one, much more than on the one with sight. But it is cool regardless, that's for sure. I may release these two so you can use them if you want. I think this is actually a useful model that I'm doing right now. Someone might use it as an improved Dark Templar version. Okay, and then I can show you something similar but also slightly different. This is more specific scenario, but there are more of these models, and actually what is most used are some lines that are used, for example, on Scout model or other Protoss models. If you have a look, then the Scout has this line going on the wings and on the body of the model. And the same is, for example, with Phoenix. It also has lines going through it, and also Tempests. A lot of Protoss models do this. So how do you copy this? You go here, delete the main mesh because it's not actually on it. It's these small lines that actually do all the work. Then you go here and remove all the unwanted things. This time we have also ribbons and particles. So remove those, but maybe I didn't have to if I don't select them upon import. But these things, those would be taken over, so I delete them. I will leave just the swipe. That's what's the material that is used for the GL stand animation for those glowy lines. Remove everything, keep just the GL stand, and export it as something. And we can just have a look how it works. So if we go to the material, it has swipe diff and swipe emissive. Both work with the default layer, so we don't need any UV2 layer. And That's all. It has only 2 layers that are animated. I can also show you how that works, because that's something I haven't shown in the model before. So basically, if we go in timeline, I think the diffuse stays the same, or it doesn't also. It also moves. But if you have a look, here is the offset. First field is for the x axis, and this is for y. X is like here, y is bottom to top. So on x it stays the same, on y it changes. And you have the keyframes right here. You can see the green ones, that's in between keyframes, and if I stop on the keyframe it's yellow, and you can change it. And you change the position. Basically the offset means that if you have the texture, then you move the texture in some way. This means you move it either top or bottom. I think it's actually from top to bottom it goes down. But I could be wrong, I could have it the other way around. And then it goes again and again, from one side to another. You can actually also make this yourself. If you want to make it in some animation, you just hit insert keyframe instead of replace keyframe. Then put it also here, here, and it should work the same way. You just make a new animation, GL stand. I think you don't even need to add this track set. You just add full, or maybe you don't even need to. You just put GL stand. And here you can put how many frames you want it to have. This unknown, I don't know what it is, but maybe it's good. And full, and you just hit run concurrent, which means it always runs with all the animations. It's like a background animation that always works with everything. And you can make the keyframes yourself in here. You have the swipe emis, and you just go here, replace keyframe, then you go here, put, I don't know, 3, insert keyframe, you go here and put 8. Those are just random numbers. You usually want to just move it a little bit so you can be inspired with how it is done here. In the beginning it's just, wait, what's going on? Okay, it's in the track set, but it can be in the full, it doesn't really matter. You see here is just half, here is only half and 52, which means it doesn't really move at all, almost, in this part of the animation, and then it moves up to 2.5. So it stays the same a bit, then it moves, and then there is just a break again. I think if I removed these keyframes, it would gradually just move. So it's how it works with the texture and everything. And if I have a look, then in the UV editor you can see it's like this, and basically the line is horizontal and comes like this from top to bottom or from bottom to the top, but I think it goes from the top to bottom again and again, and it goes through these texture spaces. So the line is like here and it goes down because of the animation, and that means it moves on the model. And we can actually either make it ourselves. As I've shown you, you can do that, but I think it's quicker if you just copy it from some model that already has it. And basically I can use, for example, Banshee, and what we should actually do, go to edit mode, and let's say I want to make this effect on the windows, on the cockpit. So I will select all the, I selected way too much. Select all these parts that we want to use. This as well. And then hit mesh, duplicate, and then P selection, which will make it another model. It's a separate model now that will be on top of the window. And then when we import what we have named as lines, that's from the Scout, we do the same, rig animations, import. You can delete this right away and set the material for this thing to the swipe. And now if we have a look, I want to go to UV editor, edit mode, and I want the line to go through the cockpit like this. So I will make this view, maybe press the 5. I don't know what is better. I can keep it like this. The classic UV project from view, make it bigger through the whole space. I will move it slightly down so it's in the middle, and it should be okay. We can just use the UV one layer, the second one, I don't know, okay, doesn't have to be used for anything actually. And that's it. Now it should work as intended. So let's test it. Yeah, and you can see it already has the moving line, and it also stays a bit on the top and bottom. So I have it too big. I think if I make the area a little bit smaller, it will not stay here and only show up like the moving line here. And if you have a look, it's all done with this animation that we have brought over from the Scout. It actually looks pretty cool. And of course you can change the texture so it is different. We can also do that. I can do a few changes so you can have a look. And also, what is really nice, it automatically renamed the texture to GL stand 1 because Banshee already have one GL stand which is used for the rotors. So that's actually really cool. that it doesn't interfere. And what we can do, I think here, if I make it slightly smaller, now it should not be in the sides. And what we can do the animation, what I have shown you. So if I go to the timeline, I go to the material layers, swipe diff and also emis, and if I remove the keyframe here, so it goes all the time, it should be more linear now, not that it doesn't do anything and then moves. I need to do the same here, so go here, delete keyframes, and it should be more linear now. And what we can also change is the texture. We have warp line 2. Let's see if there is orange version. I think there should be. This is quite often used texture. Warp line 2 is normally blue. I don't know why there is also blue version. Warp line 2, but we can use green for, or wait, we need orange. Orange. Let's use warp line. Well, let's use this one and look and see how it looks. It might be a little different because of the shape of the texture, but it should not be such a problem, I think. Export Banshee 2. Okay. Okay, it still is on the windows for some reason. But looks really cool and goes more gradually, which is quite cool. So that's actually nice. I think if I now have it on the GL stand, it should now be moving all the time. Yeah, so it doesn't even matter if it is on the Windows or not. In the game it will always look like this, which is quite cool, but I think it's way too big. So actually what I should do is the other way around. I should make this actually bigger. Or maybe if I made it this big, it would be multiple times in here. There will be multiple lines going through it, so I don't want to do that. I can just make it slightly bigger, but what I will do is, I don't know, will it be easier if I scale it like this? I think that won't make a difference. I can do this. Let's see if that makes any difference. And you can just play with it like this until it looks the way you want to. but I already like it this way. Banshee 3. Okay, it doesn't really help too much. So how do I do that? I think I could do one thing, and that would be changing the tiling, which basically means the dimensions of this thing. So if I change it, I will just jump out of the I would need to jump out of the animations. I need to deselect it. How do I do that? Because this way I would have to put it everywhere. Maybe I need to do that anyway. Okay, so let's do that. Timeline. And what we can do is make it just half the size. Insert keyframe. Also insert keyframe. Now it should be thinner, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do that for both layers. Oh, that would be quite big actually. I need to make it just 0.5. Insert keyframe. Okay, we have it on both. And also it seems a little bit too shiny, so if I put the multiplier here, for example 0.6, or I will not do it here, I will do it in the material settings, swipe, here it is emissive 10, so I put it only on 5, and it should look differently now. Let's have a look. Why do I have the feeling that it didn't help at all? I think that actually made it worse. Banshee. This one. Then let's try doing it the other way around, I guess. Swipe emiss. Put number 2 in here. Make it bigger, so maybe it is... Okay, what did I do? I didn't want to do that one. Replace keyframe, replace keyframe. I think now it might be looking better. Or if it doesn't, then I'm not experienced enough to show you how to do it properly. Because I usually also don't do these kind of things. So, yeah. Yes, now it looks better. But also goes quite faster. Okay, So basically this is how you do it. You need to really play around with the values. But I hope I have shown you how to do it, how to copy it from another, or how to set it up yourself. If there is something not clear about this, you can message me on Discord or on SC2 Mapster, or the best way, SC2 Mapster Discord channel, Discord server. There are also other people who can help you, or you can write in comments on YouTube, but I usually don't check that so often, so it's better to do it on different places. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope it can help you make some cool looking models, and see you next time. Bye.